If was the fifth, then we'd all be drunk. So Blue Coat and another person keep utilizing the term if. And in this one, he said, do you wear your seatbelt while in a car? Why? Just in case. If you get into a car accident, get into an accident, you have protection, right? Same concept. And right now, the dinger is ringing off um, because you aren't wearing your seatbelt. So I was born in 1971. I remember a time frame when we did not wear a seatbelt. You were not required to wear a seatbelt. And based on studies and whatnot, I didn't know of the studies at the time frame. I remember the day that you had to start wearing a seatbelt because back then you pile like all kind of kids in a car and just drive around town. So I remember I remember that first day that we had to wear a seatbelt. Now, why did we have to wear a seatbelt? Was it because of protection that my mother put a seatbelt, made us start wearing seatbelts at that time frame? No, it was because it was the law that was mandated by the government. That's why we had to start wearing seatbelt. Now, would I advise someone to not wear a seatbelt? Of course, I would not. Seatbelts protect people more so than they do harm. So, of course, wear a seatbelt. Definitely. But to utilize that in your argument is invalid. I don't know if it's a full straw man, but it's pretty damn close. Because what you are assuming is that your religion is the right religion. Because I can use the same type of mindset and say, well, if Islam is correct, then you, sir, are not wearing your seatbelt. If Buddhism is correct, you, sir, are not wearing your seatbelt and you have to suffer whatever punishments they have. If Hinduism is correct, you're not wearing your seatbelt. If Ifa is correct, then you are still not wearing your seatbelt. So therefore, your concept of using the seatbelt and your if statement is invalid because you have no way of proving your religion to be the actual correct religion because you are ifing and hoping that your if is right. But you cannot prove that your if is right. And as far as the dinger is going off, there's absolutely no proof or evidence of an end time, even if we were going by your Bible, because simply put, everything that is claimed to be a sign of the end time has already been happening ever since the book was actually first written in around 100 to 200 BC. I mean, yeah, 100 to 200 CE. So, and those people of that era, that time frame, they wrote those books thinking that the end time was going to happen right at that moment. Now, let's go into something that is actually more relevant to what you're saying. You're saying that if, and you're using the seatbelt, and as I already demonstrated, the seatbelt was mandated by the government. How does that correlate to your Bible? Simple. Christianity would not have survived, nor would it have ever flourished if not for the Roman government taking command of it and pushing Islam, pushing Christianity, and forcing it down people's throats. If you go and look at 382 and Theodosius, he forcibly made everyone in the Roman government to be Christian. Soon after that, you have, I forget his name right off the top of my head, it starts with an M, but he was the king of the Oxum Empire, because I know someone is going to bring up Ethiopia. And the Oxum Empire, he mandated that everybody become Christian because he wanted closer relationships with Rome for political protection as well as for trade. So the Axiom Empire, which later became the Ethiopians, they became Christian because of the government, because of a kingship. Rome because of an emperor. And throughout the throughout Europe, Christianity was mandated by the government, whether it was a king or it was a parliamentary decision. But it has always been the government that has determined what the religion of the people is going to be. It has never been overwhelmingly the people created a religion and that religion spread because people evangelized that religion and demonstrated the purity of that religion. It has always been government. Even when you go back and you look at the Babylonians, the Sumerians, any group of people that has any kind of government, it is always the government that decided what the religion is going to be. The Kemet religion was a priest kingship that decided what the religion of the people were going to be, and depending upon which king or pharaoh came into power, that determined what religion is going to be. People love Akhenaten, but Akhenaten is still falls in that same category where he demanded that people get rid of their worship of other deities and they would only worship the Aten, the one God. Prior to there ever being a Hebrew Israelite or anything of the sort, the Kemetic people had already decided through Akhenaten that there was only one God, and even thousands of years before him, there was the belief of the Ogdod, which a one source, one entity, one deity that was broken into four different divisions and a masculine and feminine energy within each one. That was mandated by government as well. When we look at the spread of Christianity or Islam or any other religion, it has often been because of the support of the government. Had it not been for the support of the government, and during colonization, then most people in Africa would not have become Christian. Most people, and they would not have become Islamic either. And slavery had been conquered, and slavery had a big deal with that. You have your five civilized tribes in the Americas became Christian, but were forced to become Christian, I should say, because of the American government. If they wanted the American government to pay them their money and give them their land, and so they have to dress like Europeans, they have to speak like Europeans, and they had to have the religion of Europeans, and that is one reason why they had that. Well, how Christianity spread through the leadership was that Tecumseh fought against that, and this is one reason why he supported the British in the War of 1812, because he would have been able to maintain his own religion, but they lost, and so those Native Americans in that area became Christian. The same thing with the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, and all other places where Christianity spread. It was because the government enforced it through colonization or conquering of the people. Now, when you look at places like Japan, Shinto was the religion of the emperor, so therefore the people also practiced Shinto until they started allowing for Christian missionaries to come in there, and you start getting more Christianity in there. But why were Christian missionaries allowed to come into Japan? Because Americans showed up with warships and demanded that they open up Japan in order for them to have trade and to be able to take advantage of their resources. So this is still through government intervention, through force, that Christianity spreads. So when you say if, you are only supporting a religion because this was the religion that government supported, and government still supports this religion. Look at your money. It says, "In God we trust." And we know that that God was the Christian God that the original 13 colonies and what became America trusted in. So yeah, no. And I'll say it one last time. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. I do not balance my life on an if, on an if. You have no proof, and therefore it's invalid. But if it works for you, it works for you. But you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.